What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Make your next thing a big one. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I'm so excited for you to hear Carolina Two-Time Shine. That's a cool name, right? That's a cool stage name. Or maybe it's his real name. I don't know. We'll find out in the next few minutes. Stick around. This week's shows, I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, my usual Friday night gig, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yeah, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. It's a little concert starring each and every one of you. They got a full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, you can check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. Go ahead. We got time. I'll wait. And then on Saturday, oh, man, I got a wedding. I know. I mentioned it. I'm teasing you because unless you're invited, you cannot come. But I'm excited. Weddings are back, baby, and all kinds of events. I got a prom coming up in the next couple of weeks. I got a birthday party coming up after that. I got another wedding. Oh, man. Oh, a grand opening coming up. I'm so excited. I love doing events. I love being part of people's best days. It's the days when they get to spend time with their family and their friends and even co-workers at the grand opening, and I get to be a part of it. I get to make their day a little bit better. Hopefully I can make it that much better. And let me tell you, the events where I hand them the mics and they end up doing karaoke, even if they weren't thinking about doing karaoke, the bride will come up to me or the groom will come up to me and say, "Huh, look at that TV screen there. Huh, you got another microphone? Huh, you got karaoke? Huh." And those events end up being the most fun, man, because people get together with their friends and sing the songs that they grew up with. Oh, always a good time. Always a good time. Even if they think they sing poorly, I got magic microphones. I'll make you sound as good as possible. I got a little echo. We'll fill your voice out a little bit. All right, let's get into it with Carolina Two-Time Shine. Here's somebody that does not need his voice filled out. He's got a really good voice. All right, I got him on the Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version, youtube.com/user/Keys Dan. Skyping Carolina Two-Time Shine now. I know you're wearing your own shirt. Nah, I don't want that to be cut out of the picture at all. Nah.
Let's get it. Shout out Big Stuff, man.
Oh, that looks real good. Carolina Two-Time Shine. I'm guessing that you've had an iteration. It's Keys Dan. How you doing? Nice to meet you, Carolina. I want to get right into it, man. I mean, you are an interesting person. You have mixed up genres. You know, people just don't do that. People just don't mix up genres. What are you doing with your life, Carolina?
We try to bring a positive change. You already know what time it is. Let's get it.
So no segregation of the country and the hip hop styles. We're gonna blend.
Unity.
Like America is a blend of all kinds of different kinds of people. And I'm guessing that having that style, having that want, that desire to blend things is going to bring you a broad audience. When you go to a Carolina, and I'm guessing it's Carolina Two-Time Shine, because I know you've had iterations. I'm looking back on your videos and looking back on your social media. Some of it says Carolina Shine. Why did you change to the 2 times?
Oh, we come back 2 times harder. You already know what time it is.
Okay. Well, what happened with 1.0? If this is the 2.0 iteration of Carolina Shine, what happened to 1.0? Did you try something? and it just didn't work out.
Smart marketing. Great team.
Okay. Okay. No, well, you were Carolina Shine, and how long ago was that?
Shit. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. I'd probably say a couple months to the transition. Against Carolina 2-time Shine. And the statement is we're going 2 times harder, you know?
Just like sometimes stars take thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years to shine their brightest, and then eventually they become supernova, you know? It only took you 2 months to figure out Carolina Shine's too small. I got to think bigger. 2 times. Come back twice as hard.
Hey, great management, great team.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Robin Shockley. I had her on the podcast yesterday, and she talked about you with high respect. And she feels like, you know, it was very fast. It came on like a bullet train that she got involved with you, and then all of a sudden, pow! She is on the Carolina 2-time Shine train like a bullet.
It's going crazy.
It is.
Yeah. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for sure. Everybody on this team is a blessing.
Okay.
And we're working.
Well, Carolina, that's a blessing. You've mentioned that, and her faith has a lot to do with who she is, Robin Shockley.
Yes, sir.
And then Carolina, I'm looking at you, and I even looked at the interview that you did with her, kind of a short interview on your YouTube page that I encourage people to go look up. And you can call me Dan if you'd like. Calling me sir is like put an elevator in an outhouse. We're just having a conversation, man. We're learning.
Yes, that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard to break, but we're gonna work on it.
Well, because you got that Southern hospitality. I'm from way down south. I'm from Miami, which is like the biggest suburb of New York. I've been told since I'm from Miami, Florida, I'm like a Yankee from Miami.
How is it down there?
It's it was nice to grow up there. My whole life was blue. I'm from, Keys came from the Florida Keys, so I spent a lot of my life in the Florida Keys on the ocean, fishing and diving and doing all kinds of water sports on the ocean. And now I find myself in Arkansas. Talk about Southern. That's the deep South, kind of like where you're at in the Carolinas. I mean, tell me about okay, Carolina. I don't know if I should call you Carolina, Mr. Shine, Mr. 2 times.
Hey, whatever go work for you, yo. We got 2-time Shine, we got Carolina Shine, we got whatever Carolina. I mean, however you want to call it.
Well, before we get into the song that shares your same name, and I enjoy it. I like it so much. What gives you the inspiration to make a song and even take the name Carolina Shine?
I mean, once again, great team, great management, smart marketing. Every song is designed to be something that's going to last. So, I mean,
but I know that's not the name that your mom and dad gave you. But so you've taken this nom de plume, this stage name. Where did you get it from?
Oh, I mean, it's just represent from where I'm from. You know, the backwoods. You know, Carolina. This is where I've been at majority of my whole life. So it's just basically we repping the whole state in one right now. So we're gonna push that energy. I'm gonna do my best on stage every time to let them know we're gonna represent.
It's good to take care of the people that have taken care of you. When you you go into your own backyard and take care of the people that have helped you along.
Right.
That's where we're all going to be stronger. Take care of each other. And I know I talked a lot about that yesterday on Robin Shockley's podcast, but I can tell that you two gelled together. As soon as you met, it felt like it was a team, or she was a good part of the team. And I know you have more people in the team, and I want you to give shout outs and give credit where credit is due as we progress in this podcast. And I want to know more about Carolina, the young man. And she's in South Carolina, but I find you in North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
So growing up, little baby Carolina, little tiny Shine. What were you doing? Were you rapping to the fellas? Were you were we rapping to the ladies out there? Trying to where did you develop this gift of gab?
My story started from my first platform was church. So growing up, I was in a single parent home. So my mother, she's very religious. So me wanting to rap, the first platform I had was going to be the church. So that's when I started my inspirational, motivational type songs. And as it grew, just knowing I feel like this is my calling. So now just transform into an energy that's going to represent for a lot of people that, they can enjoy.
Well, it's amazing how church is an inspiration for a lot of people. Having your faith, having a God that you hold on high, a higher power, somebody that guides you, a feeling, a force that guides you. It's amazing how much that becomes a guiding light in a lot of people's careers and endeavors. But I'm guessing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was there a preacher that had a good gift of gab and you saw the way he was preaching? Because that's the first rap that a lot of kids hear, is when the priest or the rabbi or their I'm not sure what the Muslims call their head guy there, but
Right.
When he's up or she's up there talking about God, that is the rap. That's the first rap that we ever hear. Was that something that inspired you?
At that time, I was getting introduced to the rap industry. So Lil Bow Wow he was very, very influential at that time. So watching him, but knowing, what I'm saying, how I was coming up in music, I just wanted to transition that hey, this energy of performances can also be introduced into how we worship at that, what I'm saying, at that time of growing up. So just as it grew, it just become like that energy of performance that really has stayed with me. And I believe that's like a key strength. So we're just utilizing what the advantage is, and that's we're gonna put on a great show every time.
Well, I was living in Fort Lauderdale down in South Florida, and I was providing the sound for this Christian group and a lot of them had Christian rappers in them. And to me, to my untrained ears, it sounded like a secular rap. And then every once in a while you threw Jesus in there. It was still like, I'm the best from the east to the west. Jesus loves me. It was that kind of a feel to me. Did you start rapping in a Christian way, or did you always do a secular thing?
Oh, no. I started out in doing like a lot of Christian platforms. So I was getting invited to a lot of platforms that had, let's say good settings, good environments, good crowds. And I was just being able to perform my like inspirational, motivational raps to those type of platforms. So just getting comfortable with performing is something that allowed me to be able to do with just those platforms of that inspirational type come up of getting experience that. So then it just all made sense later on.
Well, being a child of a single parent, and I'm the same too. I mean, my mom, I think my mom and dad got divorced either when I was 6 months old or when she was 6 months pregnant. I never got the straight story on that. I'm going to have to go back and ask Mom about that. And every once in a while, he would come back into the picture, back and forth. Really didn't do a lot for me. I heard years ago that he had passed away, and I went, I don't know how to feel about that, but okay, I'm sorry. I'm sad that somebody died. Now, there have been some great stepdads in the picture. My first stepdad was from South Carolina, so I've been to South Carolina. That's one of the Carolinas. I've been there,
Right.
And I love the country. I love the place that you're living in. And I know that, what is it, North and South Carolina? Do you remember the history of that? They split up. Why? Because of slavery? Because North wanted no slavery and South.
I couldn't tell you the reason why they split.
I don't know why that. Yeah, that kind of sticks in my head. I feel like I heard that a long time ago. And you being from the Carolinas, I figured, maybe you'll have some knowledge of the history, and maybe you'll rap about it. Maybe you'll look it up and you'll go, I'll make a rap about it. And, because that's where your inspiration comes from. It comes from everywhere. It's amazing the superpower that you have. You could take whatever knowledge you have, spit it into a microphone on a beat, and turn it into entertainment and maybe an education for people. Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. I was listening to the Carolina song, the Carolina Shine song. Now, I know, did that come, there was another song called Carolina Shine, and then you hip-hopped it up, right? Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, there could have been a Carolina Shine already out. Carolina Shine on it was what it was going to be. And from there, after the record was made, that's what it was. So Carolina Shine on it, we was going to introduce them to that.
Okay. I mean, it's nice. You made your own theme song. Whenever you come on the stage, bam, that's the song that needs to start playing. People are going to be expecting that. Now, do you have other songs that are in the works or stuff that's just now being produced as well?
Well, we have another single out. It's on the Carolina 2 Time Shine website. So www.carolina2timeshine.com. if you go check that website out, you can actually hear the new single for the Chevy, produced by the same producer, Ace the Beat God. So shout out to ATG, got 3 productions, and getting these records out. Shout out to Big South Music Management, Robert Shaq, the whole team. Like, we got 2 strong singles out right now that you definitely need to go check out. Caroline Shine on them and For the Chevy. Definitely on that www.caroline2timeshine.com website. Make sure to check that out. Crazy.
Man, you're talking my language now. Ford or Chevy, you know, because the
which one you got?
Well, when I have a Ford.
Which one you with?
I have a Ford. You know.
Ford. Okay.
Yeah, and I've had several Fords. I've had Mustangs to almost my whole life. I had a 67 Mustang that was my mom's, really, but I used to borrow it every once in a while. She didn't know. She didn't know that I borrowed it. And then I had a 85 Mustang hatchback. It was only it was a 6-cylinder. So it wasn't great, but it was red, and I put bass lines all over it, and it had a good sound system. And then I got in a motorcycle wreck, and they gave me some money for that. So I bought an '88 Mustang Sebring GT, and it was convertible. Now that was a Ford. That was a car. I used to drive that down the Fort Lauderdale Strip, and people would just jump in that car. Mostly girls would jump in that car, and yeah, that was a good time. That was a good time. So yes.
Miami.
No, Miami, for sure. And that was Fort Lauderdale as well. The Fort Lauderdale Strip, if you ever heard of it. There's a lot of movies that have that in it. But, you know, I digress, man. I remember down in Miami, I would go to a lot of car shows. And my favorites were to see the muscle cars of yesteryear. And a lot of them were Fords, Chevys, Dodges from the 60s, from the early 70s. Those were cars that were made. They didn't care about gas guzzling. They cared about things that looked good. Even the 50s, they had, you know, and even before that, when cars were first being made, they had some style to them.
Right.
And now they all look like spaceships because they all want to be aerodynamic and they don't want to use any gas, which is probably a smart thing. But tell me about you and your Ford or Chevy experience.
I would probably say I would lean more to Chevy just because that's just what I heard a lot growing up with Chevys. Everybody's all right, Chevy, there's getting Chevy. So, I mean, I would probably lean more to Chevy, though, just because that's just what I was seeing the most, honestly, on that part.
Well, I know in my 20s when I was down in the Florida Keys, I was a firefighter down there, and I had a Ford F-100 pickup truck, and I know that I spent a lot of time sitting in that engine working on that truck. And I've heard that Ford is fix or repair daily. So, yeah, I've heard things. So, you know, I don't remember ever owning a Chevy. I used to work at a place where they had me drive a Chevy van. It was a pretty cool Chevy van, but for the most part, I've owned Fords my whole life, man.
Right. Yeah, I like how they still work together. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool. I thought how to be such big names, how they still kind of cross promote and just, you know, they still do good business. You know what I'm saying? Like how they promote. So that was interesting when I started finding out more about the Ford and Chevy brands, and like I was like, okay, like, this is big.
Well, I mean, they've had their history. They still have their problems as well, man. You know, people go, oh, Ford and Chevy, they're American made. Well, maybe. There's a lot of their industry has been moved over to Mexico, and I know it could get real political, but people move their businesses wherever they get cheap labor, you know, better cost efficiency. And do we get a better product? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, you know, I'm sure Mexican people, you know, for the most part, there's good workers there that can build cars. But the people in Detroit, I feel like they got left in the cold sometimes. You know, I don't know a lot about it, but I feel like a lot of the American companies that built America are moving out of America. What do you think?
I mean, the times we live in, I mean, everything's got a plan. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's good that you have a job entertaining the people. And, you know, I don't know how your mom felt about that. Well, when you said, you know what, Mom, I want to be a rapper. What did she say?
She always said I was going to be a pastor. You know, my dad was a pastor. So looking back at it, this is just my way of, hey, this way I can do my ministry, you know, how I can promote my energy. I feel like, and that was the best way I feel like I could do it to me.
Well, I mean, you got to get the flock together any way you can, I suppose. You know, and I know I've searched my whole life for a higher power. There was a time in my life when I was, you know, a real zealot, a real, I guess people called me a Jesus freak, but I've since calmed down quite a bit. I think I'm losing you. And he's back. All right. But you know, tell me more about you growing up. I mean, how did you end up well as a single parent life? What happened to your dad? He was a pastor.
Growing up on that situation, I went to Pennsylvania up in that area with my dad for a little bit, and it was a situation. So once that happened, my mother and them came and got me from North Carolina. So when they brought me back to North Carolina, that was the last time I see my father. So from there on, it was one of those things that my mother was going to raise me from here, and I was going to stay in North Carolina instead of going back and forth to Pennsylvania to Carolina. So once I recognized that and I understood it, that's when I started to embrace where I was from and really truly, all right, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm working with.
All right. Well, here you go. There's an experience that you've had. You've had the North and South experience. I've never really gone north of the Mason-Dixon line. I think I-40 was my cross, my line in the sand. I've never been north of I-40, I don't think. I mean, unless I think that when I was a little baby, I was in Indiana for a little bit, but that's something that I don't remember. But you grew up primarily in the South, but then you spent some time in Pennsylvania as well. What was the different experience for you?
Just a bigger city, just what was going on, where it was at. Pennsylvania, just, you know, apartments back to back, lined up on each other. And I just wasn't seeing stuff like that. And the big bridges, like, you know, just everything about the that brotherly love, you know what I'm saying, the Philly type vibe. So, and then Carolina, it was just more backwoods, you know, where I was at. It was just more, you know, it's more laid back type lifestyle. So definitely a huge transition.
Well, how old were you when you were in Pennsylvania?
It was about 9.
9. Yeah. Okay. So you can still remember a little bit about it, to where you had a lot of friends, a lot of playing in the streets, a lot of, what kind of stuff did you get into in Pennsylvania when you were 9 years old?
Well, I mean, at that time I was a pastor's son, so I was just going to church for pies, you know, and after that, just not really doing the most, you know. I mean, just living that ordinary lifestyle of that, and just family time, stuff like that. I mean, we go out, take the dogs out, might go to the park, you know, walk around. But I mean, it was just the average lifestyle of what was going on for me.
Well, Carolina, the old story has always been the preacher's daughter is always the one that breaks out. The preacher's son, the preacher's daughter is the one that's going to, you know, break out and try to get their horizons expanded before anybody else. Is that the experience that you've had, or do you find that you've held yourself back a little bit and not gotten in too much trouble?
Absolutely, those are facts. So definitely, when you get held back from a lot of stuff that you feel like, you know, you just the way of life, I guess, in some situations. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we had our dark times. We go through like a wild phase we go through, but I mean, once you get back to your roots, that's a dangerous person from there. I feel like.
And that's what's being a teenager. I mean, I know even the people that are the most religious people, I guess the Amish, they have a thing called the Rumspringer, where they send their kids out into the world, into the secular world for about a year and let them experience it. And most of them come right back home, you know, and go back to that life where they're using no power tools and no internet and no television, and they go back to that. I mean, do you find that even if you were breaking out, and I don't know, and I don't know if you want to divulge, you know, what you were getting into, you don't even have to, but you know, once you got out there, did you find that the lessons that you learned as a younger child, even, you know, whether in the church or in school or from your mom, you know, that's a big part of your life. You feel like that's what pulled you back and maybe saved you a little bit?
Well, it definitely taught me to understand how to fear God more in a way of your decisions. So like, definitely the journey, I don't regret. It made me who I am, and it made me understand why I decided to, all right, I want to keep it like this. I want to live like this. I want to, you know what I'm saying, inspire people to be, you know what I'm saying, something with your energy, something of good. So I mean, yeah, definitely, because I've witnessed what bad did to me. So I definitely want to I want to help people from straying down a path that you're just going to come right back out of. So if we can try to redirect you faster, yeah, Carolina 2-time shine.
For sure, man. You got to help yourself. You got to make sure that you're steady, and then you try to help out other people. You know, I tell, man, I think I said it yesterday. You know, if you sweep your own front yard, the whole world will be clean. If everybody swept their own front yard, the whole world will be clean. You got to act locally and think globally. You know, take care of what you can. All I can do is take care of what I can see, of all my friends, my family, my neighborhood. Try to expand. You know, with this podcast, I get to, you know, have people enlighten me, and in turn enlighten the rest of the world potentially. You know, and we're learning from you, Carolina 2-time shine. I'm still trying to figure out what to call you, Carolina 2-time shine. I feel like there was that movie Goodfellas. Was it Johnny Two Times? Was it Johnny 2 times? He always say, yeah, I got to get the papers. Get the papers.
Get the paper.
All right. Well, we left you in Pennsylvania as a 9-year-old, but then your mom brought you back quickly to North Carolina. How old were you when you came back to North Carolina?
That was, I think around the age of 13.
And that's it. No more going to Pennsylvania from there.
No, that wasn't part of the routine no more.
All right, so 13, you're a teenager in North Carolina, in the backwoods. What kind of stuff you getting into? I remember I was living in the Everglades, and I used to jump gators with my 3-wheeled ATV. You know, so that was the thing. I don't even know if we were actually jumping gators. It was a lot of jumping in on 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers and motorcycles. I mean, what do you do in the backwoods of North Carolina?
I mean, around that time, like I was still almost on the same schedule. So when I came back down to North Carolina, my mother had me in a private Christian school. So it was back to the uniforms. I was still witnessing almost the same principles. So it was just the lifestyle of that was, you know, church Wednesday, Sunday, school, get to bed. So I mean, I wasn't truly out on my own yet at that time. I was still going through my foundation period of my principles, I feel like, of what made me who I am today.
All right. Well, 13 to 18, how were you doing in school? Did you go to Christian school the whole time? No.
After 5th grade, that's when I was introduced to the public school. So that was, that was interesting as well. So, I mean, yeah, definitely. It's been a time for sure on this journey. But going into the public school, I remember the first thing was questioning. It was just, I remember the jokes on like the virginity. I remember the jokes of not matching. I remember the jokes on. I remember asking somebody why did they cuss so much. I was still new to a lot of stuff, so there was a lot. It was rough through like the 6th grade. I remember there was people that still knew, you know, where I was located at, where I lived and stuff. So I mean, I wasn't alone, but I was still having to find who I was throughout, you know what I'm saying, a public audience now when it comes to, I guess, society from private school to public. So definitely it was not no easy transition. I still had to understand who I was, understand what was going on. So I had help with a lot of good friends to this day throughout some of those moments, for sure. Well,
Carolina, I understand that transition very well. When I was a kid, from 2nd through 6th grade, I was in Catholic school. And let me tell you, in Miami, in Catholic school, I'm half Cuban, half Irish. And let me tell you, I didn't know that there was a difference in races until 7th grade when I went to public school. And they told me, oh, yeah, that's a black guy over there. That's an Asian guy over there. That's they had to tell me because, in my family, I'm being Cuban, I have cousins that are black as night, man. And they used to say, oh, he's not black. He's Cuban. Es cubano. Es cubano. No, negro. Hey, ¿dónde está? It was like that. So I imagine, was there a culture shock similarly? And, I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I hope I haven't poisoned the well too much telling my story. But Carolina, going from a Christian school wearing uniforms. Everybody looks the same. Don't have to worry about what clothes you're wearing. And then you go off to a public school and you can wear whatever you want. And you might get ridiculed or talked to about what you're wearing or how you look. Is that the experience you had?
Well, break that down. Well, there was a house fire that we witnessed where I was living, that it was where my mother and I stayed. So after that house fire, the church took care of us and helped fund us in a hotel for it until we figured out the next location where we was going to live. So at that time, when we lost everything, all the clothes and stuff, I'm going to school with just whatever that was being blessed to us. So when that hit me, when I was going to public school with nothing, right? Just whatever that was being blessed to me to wear, and still taking on like you're not matching. I had to understand like there's a huge difference, and that's when I started understanding. All right, there's almost two worlds that I'm having to get accustomed to. So it was definitely it was interesting. I mean, you just something you learn from. I don't regret nothing. Everything was a part of the journey for a reason. I believe it truly made me who I was.
No, definitely a learning experience. And I remember the first day of school in public school was always a fashion show. And people were wearing their brand new clothes. And I was begging my mom for $11 Converse. $11 Converse. Yeah. Back then, the Converse, the regular Chucks were $11 over at J. Byron's. And my mom said, no, we can't afford that. Single mom, for the most part. We can't afford that. We went over to the local Winn-Dixie grocery store and got like $2 Bobos. That was my shoes. So talk about getting made fun of. I understand that completely, getting made fun of. But then did you start to own it, or how did you get through that situation? Did you talk your way out of it? Were you able to find that gift of gab? I think I watched House Party and Kid and Play. I remember, was it Chris Reed or Chris Martin? Chris Reed was, rapping to get himself out of it. Somebody told him, tell jokes. How did you get through 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade?
Well, I mean, to add on to that story, the Sunday, the youth pastor, for where I was at church, he was one of the, he had something to do with like the head of like the law enforcement of where I was staying, in that city. So there was on Sundays, there's certain days that they would come bring the task force, they do sweep through the neighborhood. And my mother and I, I'm looking at my youth pastor, like my son, and then understanding like this is my youth pastor, and then but I'm where I am. So and then had to deal with the public school part. So there was just a lot going on for me. So how I got through all that was I really just seen it as you can see me how you want to, you can judge me how you want to, you can say how you want about me, but as long as I truly knew who I was throughout the whole moment, then eventually it's going to make sense later.
Well, what did you focus on? Were you able to focus on your studies? Did you do sports? Were there any extracurricular activities that you put your mind to, or was it God that kept you through? Where did you focus yourself to?
Well, I took it right back to the music. So I was doing the platforms for the inspirational stuff they had. So I would go out of town, go to the Detroit, Greensboro, stuff like that. Stuff, everything they had going on, events, I was just making sure I was part of. Like I could perform, I could do. So every weekend I was usually trying to, perform somewhere at church. So I tried to stay busy with the music because I realized that was my vent. That was my way of, all right, that's my expression. Whatever I was going through, I would describe it in my songs at that time, and that was just my way that helped me. So I believe it was just finding what was going to be my outlet of everything I was going through, and how can we shoot it out one time.
Wait a minute, your teenage years, were you traveling with a show with the church?
Right.
Is that what you were doing?
Right.
Wait.
Yeah, you're right. I was already doing the music at that time, so I mean, it was like the bookings were. It was a blessing how this whole came about, but yeah, it was definitely it was busy, at that time doing the church spiritual event, like inspirational events, let's say, and just doing those type of platforms. So performance, it grew from a lot of my early stages of doing music, from doing a lot of different church events that was available at that time that that we could do. And, you know, at that time, it wasn't paid by like, all right, they do it by like donation checks. So that's what would help us. All right, get the gas. All right, go to, you know what I'm saying? It was already just being able to move in a way that I could get used to now that it makes sense of how we're doing it now. And shout out to Big South Music Management. So it's just basically taking this to that, and we're going to perfect it.
Absolutely. And you were, wait, did I hear you say you didn't just stay in North Carolina? You went out as far as Detroit and further than that. Where did you take the tour as you know, like the church festivals? Where did you go?
Well, see, once the church realized this is what I wanted to do, it became, you know, God's grace. All right. They started, I was meet up with different churches, and like, I go to one van and the next van, and that van go to that event, and I'll perform for that. And then it was just how it worked out. It was just, it allowed me to get out of everything I was around, and I got to stay busy. To me, that's how it helped me a lot. I didn't get to really have to deal with too much of a lot that was going on with where I was at the time.
Well, where exactly were you going? And what were you doing? Were you performing, or were you stagehanding, or a little bit of all of it, or what were you doing?
It was like same artists performing, just selling singles, $5 CDs here and there. I mean, just building my foundation. What I had no clue what would be today. It was a lot to start with performing. Just I was every weekend, something, every Sunday, you know, just. Well, what kind
of music were you singing at church events?
It was just a lot of inspirational, just a lot of no cussing, like how we do with, you know what I'm saying, with the Carolina Two-Time Shine. A lot of energy, and positive lyrics, and it's the same foundation. So getting back to my roots, you're witnessing everything that really how it started, the mustard seed, really.
Well, do you remember some of the earlier songs that you were singing? Were they original songs? Were they hymnals? Were they songs that were written for you or written by others? What was?
I was still I was writing everyone, but at that time it was not, the business part of knowing all that was not in place. It was just at a point where it's just write a song, record it, get it on a beat, you know what I'm saying, go to the studio, go on stage, rap it, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't LLC ready. It wasn't business tax model. It wasn't, none of that was broke down yet. That was just something to do, and it turned into something that became busy. And then I realized, all right, this might be it.
No, these are the seeds, and I want people to know this. This is the seeds that get planted that become Carolina Two-Time Shine. And you know, these are the seeds that people need to cultivate. And I want the moms and dads that are listening to let them know. There's two ways that you can raise a child. You could be a carpenter or you could be a gardener. Have you heard of these two ways?
Break it down.
Okay, a carpenter will say, you're going to be a pastor, and they will give you every opportunity only down that path. They will hammer you until you become a pastor or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, you know, a baker, whatever they want you to be. And you just go down that one path. A gardener will plant seeds, give you a lot of tools for your toolbox. Oh, let's plant a few seeds over here. Oh, he likes music. He likes playing guitar. Oh, he likes books. Oh, he likes playing doctor. He likes, you know, she likes this. And then you water that. You cultivate. You become a gardener. You let them experience everything. I think I become like a gardener for my the one that's in the house still. She gets a lot of tools in her toolbox. How do you feel your mom was raising you, where she wanted you to go down one path, or she was giving you the opportunity to explore for yourself?
Definitely, I have to say she molded that pastor, preacher, that type of title as me growing up. That was molded of like, this is what I see, this is what the vision, I guess, and how I seen it was, I knew how I was living after the fact of that start off of that type of music, and I was just like, well, I don't know if that's really my platform. I guess what I got going on, and I just seen music that was I guess that was going to be my way of, you know, not straying away from what you're saying, Mama, but this might be might be who I am, Mom. You know what I'm saying? We have to do it like this, though.
Well, from what I'm understanding, you kept some of the values, like what is it, KRS-One? I don't think he curses in any of his songs. And I remember growing up in the '80s. Yeah, I come from the '80s. A lot of the rap, there was no cursing in the rap. You know, it was, you know, the hip, the hop, the hibbity. You know, the Rapper's Delight, Crush Groove, that whole. Even Run DMC, they, you know, and my favorite rapper, Heavy D, you know, they didn't curse back then. It wasn't really until the late '80s, early '90s, Two Live Crew really changed the whole game and made people figure out, oh, I better put this little parental advisory on the bottom of this record. But a lot of kids growing up at that time said, oh, I know which record I want, because it's the one that has that parental advisory label on it. But do you think, Carolina two-time shine, you're going to make records that don't need that label? Or they do need?
We're going to do it without the curse, and that is definitely the plan of the character of what we're promoting. So, I mean, the language will always be acceptable for everybody to listen to and enjoy. So that is, you know what I'm saying, that's definitely... That's the ultimate goal of our music, for sure, is to make sure the masses can accept it. And anybody is, you know, there's no problem for anybody. You can play it, enjoy it, express your energy, and that's Carolina two-time shine. So
no, I can appreciate that so much. I mean, I'm getting, you know, I've been DJing since 1986, so yeah, I've been doing it a long time, and every year I wonder, am I getting too old for this? Should I stop? And then I do a Sweet 16 party. Or a prom. I got a prom coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I rock the house. And I always got to find the clean versions of all the dirty songs that they want to hear. You know, and do you feel, and devil's advocate, do you feel like some of the other rappers are going to look at you and going to laugh at you like your clothes aren't matching because you're limiting yourself with your words? Or do you feel like maybe it's not a limitation, it's an expansion of what you've always grown up with? How do you explain not cursing in your songs? Are the kids going to dig it still?
How do I feel about that? I feel like it's a change that was probably well needed, maybe. But, you know, that's how we coming. So if that's how they accept it, that's how we're going to continue to come. So, I mean, it's just getting used to what we're doing and getting used to how we're coming. So if that's cool with you, that's a great job on our part. But if you still are getting used to the not cussing, then we're going to continue to not cuss on our records. So we want to at least get you used to that. So, I mean, if you like the music, we got the same type of energy coming, the same type of music for everybody. So it's just embracing that change that we're trying to do of how we're doing it.
Well, most of the time I could find clean versions of the songs, but let me tell you, I've been in radio since 1986 as well. And I've kind of talked to a lot of other people in other countries that have been in broadcasting as well. And Jamaica, their version of the FCC, they will not let you play a song that has to be edited. You have to sing a song without cursing, have it clean already as made, and then they could play it on their radio. But if you got to bleep anything, you got to, backtrack. Let me tell the first time that I remember, this is probably in the early 90s, there was a song called Nuck If You Buck. And the kids, I think it was a Sweet 16 party, they wanted to hear that song so bad. And I was like, I can't find a clean version of it. So I played like a karaoke version of it, and the kids were singing the words, and they said, "Hey, where's the words?" I said, "What do you like? What do you like about the song?" "The beat." And I said, "Well, there's the beat. Your mom doesn't want to hear that, man." And I think I'd have pride if I was somewhat like you, to have songs that you're not afraid to let your mom listen to. Right. You're not listening in your headphones. I see a lot of kids on the in the malls or whatever, on the street corners, they're listening with their headphones because they're kind of embarrassed about what they're listening to. But for you, they're not going to be embarrassed. They can listen to this song that's got a good message and put it out to the world and not be afraid. "Oh, you're listening to that music. It's got too much cursing in it." Not yours. What do you think?
Well, smart marketing.
Man, I just rattled off this whole big thing. I'm trying to get some stuff out of you, man. I want to know more about you, man. I want a story from you, man. And when you got out of the church, going on tours with the church, and you're in school. I mean, did you sing in school? Did you rap in school? And then once you get out of high school, what did you do? What is Carolina two-time Sean going to be when he grows up? At that time.
Well, I mean, at that time during school, I was playing sports. So, like, sports was before the music type outlet for me. So, when, like, my friends and the stuff, like, we go on the weekends, like, play football here and there. But when we weren't playing football, season was over, all season. That's when I started getting introduced to recording. So, that's when they had, like, the mobile record setups at the home. And I had no clue how to do none of that rapping stuff. Like I said, it's before the rap kicked in. So I was kind of introduced to rap in a different way from every single direction almost. And, like, my friends were rapping, and I was like, okay, well, that's like, all right, you're up. I'm over here like, I thought we played sports. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going with the flow, So I get up there on the mic, and then I don't know how to rap really deliver yet. So I'm rapping like deep voice, and like it has no melody, no flow, and they play it back. And that's the first time I've heard myself recorded. And I was like, oh, I can do that better. I was like, nah, that ain't it. So then I started getting in that so I was like, oh, so this week we're recording. So I was like, all right. Since I didn't like the way I sounded, it wasn't trying to be the best artist. I just didn't like the way I sounded. So I was like, all right, I want to improve this since it's, I'm rapping with my friends and stuff. We're gonna make cool songs, That's what it was. So once I started noticing that I was still trying to perfect the flow that I wasn't pleased with, the voice I wasn't pleased with, that's when I realized it was maybe just a hobby to something I was doing it with. And to me, I took it as, well, this is why I started up. This is what we're doing. So I finished it. And that's like, and then it picked up to the recording turned into CDs. The CDs turned into shows. The shows turned into the donations. And then the cycle just got repeated, and then just started to grow on its own. And I started to realize that I couldn't even truly understand why I was wanting to do music. Mm-hmm. But I just realized that it started from me wanting to perfect what I heard from what I did. And I just wanted to better that. So then the repetition of the grind for like, okay, now I'm recording every day. I'm writing every day. I'm going and I'm obsessed with it. I'm writing notebooks full. Like it's going, like, it's taking over me. Like, and I realized that I took it to an extent of, this is what you need though, to get in that motion of, if you want to do this music. And it was like, well, once I realized, all right, we kind of got this far there. You know what I'm saying? It was just now starting to meet people then who could help take it to the next level. So it's like Big South, shout out to Big South Music Management, Robin Shockley, SML, the video crew, Gap 3 Productions, Ace the Beat guys. So when I started getting introduced to people who went crazy in their own lane and just like they dominated what they do, it came together, and we never looked back since. So it's been a blessing of having platforms. I want to say shout out to yourself, appreciate having us on here. So I mean, and there's just having different people to work with. I love the network, so I love to be social. I think I got it from my mother. She always talked at the end of church, and Mama, come on, I'm ready to go eat. Mom, I'm ready to go. She's talking. So I got accustomed to watching her network, I feel like, after church, but in a social way, fellowship, what we call it. So networking to me was just always, it's something I seen at the end of church. You know what I'm saying? Mom, I'm ready to go. But this time, my round, it's going to be business. You know what I'm saying? So everything is it's from the foundation of, I don't regret a thing. It's definitely helped me view life how I see it today. And, just getting with the right people, having great people who believe in what they're doing as well, and you just bring that together, you can have great entertainment, great business, and great results. And that's just the main thing, just getting around people that want to do something major in their life. And major with major. That's paper. So I mean, it's definitely a blessing to see the level of working with different people that definitely take their craft serious, and that drives you to I believe go harder and what you want to do, because you're witnessing it. You're seeing people grow. You're seeing people rise. You're seeing people change their life, and it's like, okay, it's less impossible, and it's more just you just learn from there. And I believe that's been a blessing in my life, to be able to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to kind of view how this is going on.
Now you're talking, Carolina two-time shine. Well, you're talking about this, this interview thing where you're thanking me. I'm thanking you because I'm learning from you. It's purely selfish when I get to talk to people just like you, because I want to wonder, I've never sang a song. I've never recorded myself singing a song or rapping a rap. All the raps that I know are mostly from Heavy D and the boys, man. Whenever somebody says lay down a rap, I'm doing somebody that wants me for me, not because I'm MC Heavy D. It's always something that was stolen. And I know De La Soul had a song called Potholes in My Lawn, and that was one of my favorites, man. But then when I actually delved into it and listened to that song, it's about people stealing their rhymes, stealing their raps. And for somebody that can come up with it on their own and to get inspiration from wherever you get inspiration, and to come up with your own rhymes, notebooks full of raps, man, that's a superpower. That's a power that I do not have. That is something that I don't know, were you good at English, or, what was your favorite subject in school, or
I like to spell. I remember that part. Spell. I don't know spelling. That's what it was for me.
I mean, do you have a thesaurus? Is it rhyming books? Or do you just, man, is it natural?
I mean, here was the trick. I mean, I guess to me, I didn't do dictionary stuff. I was reading the Bible. I was in stuff like that. So the words, understanding the words back then, it kind of helped my vocabulary expand, because I had to learn how to say these words, because this is what we're going to do. I mean, I was the household I was living in. So, I mean, just the Bible for sure. The literature and that, yeah, for sure.
I mean, did you come up with an idea of if the word is in the Bible, I could put it in my song? Even though was it damn and hell? Some people would consider those curse words, but it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. But you got inspiration, man. That book, whether you believe it or not, it's the most sold book in the whole wide world. So something good has got to be in there, for people to gain knowledge and gain inspiration from. And hey, there's worse books that you could be reading to gain inspiration. So yeah, you picked up the Bible, man. That's cool. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But when you get out, like I said, what is your mom? I mean, does your mom want you to fall back on another idea? After the pastor thing didn't work out, and now are you going full time into this hip hop, cowboy hip hop? It's not just hip hop; it's hip hop country, which is a niche all in itself. I know that we talked about that. Where did the country come in? You were just so North Carolina.
That was my first job. My mother, grace of God, the people she knew throughout the connections of church, the connections of just how she upheld herself. I was working for one of the presidents of the college, community colleges, and he had a farm and stuff. So before I was able to work a job legally, age-wise, she put me on the farm, and that's when I started working cowboy hats and the boots. I was taught that stuff, that was my first job. So that was a blessing for sure. That was a part of the foundation that really, it was a mix of a whole lot of stuff going on, but it makes sense now.
All right. Well, I mean, growing up, are you listening to the hip hop, and are you listening to country? I guess
it varies. It could be classical. It could be country, rock, heavy metal. I mean, it's whatever the energy needs to me.
Absolutely,
whatever I need to vibe off to. That's what it is. That's what I'll play.
And I imagine, all right, if people go to a Carolina two-time shine show, what can they expect? Can they expect a little bit of this, a little bit of that? What's the playlist going to be?
You can definitely expect the country vibe. You can expect the the hip hop vibe, the Southern vibe, the poetry vibe, and the energy. But once the energy combines the melodies with the lyrics, with the sound, with the setting, everything going on, it's just when you put something good together, you have a great people that put this stuff together, and it's a good show, and it adds up. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely well put together.
Well, I'm looking at some of the YouTube videos before I came on with you, and some of the shows, I mean, they get wild. Some of them get crazy. I mean, the shirt comes off. For me, back in my 20s, yeah, okay, maybe the shirt would come off, but right now, this shirt's staying right on. I mean, how do you stay in shape to where you get comfortable in front of an audience, in front of a crowd? If they're getting wild and you're just like, bust open and just, really entertain and get in and get that energy. I do understand the energy exchange between a crowd and the performer, and the performer to the crowd. It just flows. But, how do you stay in shape to where you feel like, this shirt can come off maybe?
Well, I was into like stuff like boxing. So I remember training for boxing for a little bit, doing stuff like that for like workouts. UPS, I worked at UPS. So doing that type of stuff, that broke my body down. And then I went to landscaping. So that was just a lot of things that was just involved in my body to go ahead and be molded, I guess. If it ain't going to be the gym, I already knew that, all right, if I'm doing this going to probably add up the same way. So that definitely.
Well, besides the hip hop and the music, you got skills, man. You work with your hands, and that's an important skill that people are losing. Kids are not learning how to work with their hands, working on Fords or Chevys, working out in the yard, working on landscape, working on a farm. These are all skills that you got that, if the apocalypse ever happened, you'd survive. You'd probably fare better than some of the kids that are TikTok, and that's it. That's all they do all day long, do duck faces and dance on TikTok. I mean, you're going to do better. I think you're going to survive better. What do you think about the new culture where it's all, I know that ironically, we're on social media right now spreading your message, but how do you feel about kids that want to make a job? And I know that there's people that make millions, maybe one, maybe two, maybe a handful, maybe two handfuls that make millions on social media. But what do you think about a kid that's growing up and doesn't want to learn a skill and wants to go into social media, and that's it?
Definitely do your research. YouTube. YouTube can tell you a lot, and great team, a great management. If you want to take it that serious, it's all you're going to always have to have a team. So make sure that, you have a team that's, going to be good for you, And sometimes it just can't be like your friend, your buddy you grew up with. Like sometimes you have to take it to that management level of people that know how to already do this. And that's when you get to network and get to meet people. So definitely networking for sure.
All right. Well, as we wind this thing down, let's give shout outs to the people that have helped you along the way. You've already let me know you can't do it all by yourself. Once you get to the level that you can make on your own, yes, you can get yourself some kind of recording device, a computer with maybe like a USB interface and a microphone, and maybe Fruity Loops, or I guess it's FL Studio now. And yeah, you can lay down some beats on your own, but to get to that next level, you got to have engineers, somebody that can mix and master, somebody that can get you your sound quality. But then once you got the song, you got to have a promoter. You got to have somebody that's going to help you get on stage. So give shout outs to the people that have helped you along the way. Carolina, two-time Shine.
Well, definitely have to shout out God. Thanks for everything. Thanks for my mother, Big South Music Management, Robin Shockley, SML, Self-Made Legends, Ace the Beat Guy, Got 3, Production, the whole Carolina two-time Shine team. D, shout out D for the TikTok. There's a lot of people that God has put in my life that do extraordinary at what they do, and it's a big reason why I'm getting to have this opportunity of doing what I love to do. So I want to say thank you to the whole Carolina two-time Shine team, everybody that's been supporting it. Shout out to the platforms that are allowing us to come in and promote what we got going on. And I want you to encourage y'all to go to a show, www.carolina2timeshine.com. Go check that Ford Chevy, produced by Ace the Beat Guide. We got a lot more coming, and keep us in prayers. It's gonna be a journey this year, and we're gonna pipe it up a little bit more. We're gonna turn it up a notch. 2022 going. Let's get it.
Now, are you going to stay primarily in the North Carolina area, or are you going to go, around the country and maybe even around the world?
Tune into the socials, Carolina 2 Times Shine, and on there in the sites, the Carolina2timeshine.com. That's where you can find a lot of what's going on, and just make sure you stay tuned in, y'all.
Any shows coming up real soon, or anything you got cooking?
We got one April 16th. We're gonna go down to Kingston, North Carolina. We're gonna touch down and get on the Lenore County Fairgrounds. We're gonna rock out that day, so I just want to keep us in prayers for that, y'all. We're gonna go down there and do what we do best, and let's do it. Let's get it. That's all I gotta say.
Excellent, Carolina 2 Times Shine. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. As things progress, as you got more things to promote, I want you to come back. You got an open invitation, man. You're a real nice guy, and you're doing good things, using the values that you grew up with to make music that you want to hear. And if you want to hear it, somebody else is going to want to hear it. So I listened to that Carolina Shine song. Man, it's catchy. It's got a beat, man. And I'm looking forward to listening to that Ford or Chevy song as soon as we get off of this thing. But I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. It could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every day, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Carolina 2 Times Shine. Give the last words for the people.
Grind time is Carolina 2 Times Shine time. Or should we say, let's get it?
Oh, my goodness. There he is, Carolina 2 Times Shine. Ask for him by name. Look it up on Facebook. You can look up Carolina Shine or Carolina 2 Times Shine, and you'll find a lot of his social medias. And, of course, you'll find his website. The website's got a lot of information on there that, that you can definitely use to be one of the stalkers. You could be a Carolina 2 Times Shine groupie. And follow him around. The Carolina Shine song, let me tell you, that song is catchy. I mean, if you look, all right, Carolina 2 Times Shine's website, if you go to his About page, you see him in all his glory. He's got he looks like hip hop, but he's got the bandana and the cowboy hat. And it's just, and it goes through his journey right there. I didn't even look at it, because I didn't want to know anything before we started this podcast. But I'll definitely take his bio and I'll put it in the show notes so you could read more about it. And I encourage you, now that you know about Carolina 2 Times Shine, you tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on. And if you're anywhere in the North Carolina area, that's the best place right now where you're probably going to find a Carolina 2 Times Shine show. But if you need a little hip hop and a little country, how about this? If part of your people want to hear some hip hop, and then the other part wants to hear some country, say you're doing an office party. Let's have a hip hop artist. Let's have a country artist. Just like Reese's, put a little peanut butter and chocolate together and mix them up, and you get Carolina Shine. Carolina 2 Times Shine, because he's coming at you twice as hard. Oh, I can dig it. I can dig it, man. Don't get limited to one thing. Always let your horizons be broadened, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Carolina 2 Times Shine. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to be on the podcast, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.